Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's your girl, Dr. J, and I want to know, how is your day? Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, happy Indigenous Day, rather, maybe for some that's realized the colonization that Thanksgiving really did to us. Yeah, my teeth. Can y'all see my teeth? They are just like glistening. Oh my gosh. So I'm using this new pharmacy tooth whitening paste, and it is amazing. Y'all like that? Okay. Well, it is book club time. It is book club time. I've got a bunch of boxes here. I have to do a box unveiling because I have a bunch of orders to fill. So once I fill these orders from my shelf, I get products to restock my beautiful shelf. So, anyways, we are on. In case you are new to this is book club, and we are on "Be Your Future Self Now" by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Be Your Future Self Now, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And before I get into the book, let me just tell you a little bit about me. I am Dr. J. I am a bronze director. This month we was a snap from Golden. A snap from Golden. So I'm a 2-time bronze, 3-time director here in pharmacy, only been involved in 3 months. Yes, so we've been moving really, really fast, and it was a really good Thanksgiving to just kind of chill, hang with family, but at the same time, I was still working because we had some amazing Black Friday sales and deals. So if you're already with pharmacy, then you already know. If you're not with pharmacy, then get back to the person who invited you to this book club, because definitely you want to be involved. If I was the one, Dr. J, who invited you, you can find my link on my YouTube channel, which is partnerwithdrj.com. But make sure, if I didn't invite you, you get back to the person who did invite you. So, book club, Be Your Future Self Now, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. If you don't have the book, order the book, get it on Audible, or you can listen while I read along. So we have been talking about the threats to your future self. And in this book, there are 7 threats that prevent us from advancing to our future self. And we are on the 5th threat. So before I tell you what that 5th threat is, let's do a recap of the previous 4. So, threat number 1, without hope in your future, your present loses meaning. Without hope in your future, your present loses meaning. So get your pen and paper. Threat number 2, a reactive narrative about your past stunts your future. A reactive narrative about your past stunts your future. Threat number 3, being unaware of your environment creates a random evolution. Being unaware of your environment creates a random evolution. And threat number 4, being disconnected from your future self leads to myopic decisions. Being disconnected from your future self leads to myopic decisions. So if you haven't heard those before, make sure you go back and listen to A, B, C, D, so that you can understand what those threats mean. So threat number 5, we're on E. I believe E or F. I think we're on F. Threat number 5 is urgent battles. No, we did read urgent. We did read this one last. So, yeah. So, threat number 5, ready? Urgent battles and small goals keep you stuck. Urgent battles and small goals keep you stuck. So, that's A, B, C, D, E. So, we are on part 1F. This is part 1F. And we're on threat number 6. We are moving through the book. So threat number 6 is on, let me see, it's been a minute. What page are we on? 45. 45 is a great number to be alive. Okay, so threat number 6. Not being in the arena is failing by default. Ooh, this one is gonna be be good. This one is going to be so good. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Like and subscribe because this one is going to be so good. Wow. You ready? I'm about to learn something. You're about to learn something. Our income will only go as far as we grow. So y'all ready? Page 45. Not being in the arena is failing by default. If you are not in the arena, then you're not evolving. Whew. Theodore Roosevelt said it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who, at the best, knows in the end the triumphs of high achievement? And who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Woo. Let me read that again. That was a long one, but there was some nuggets in there. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the person who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they fail, at least failed while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Tom Brady, the NFL quarterback, is widely considered the GOAT, greatest of all time of football, and maybe even team sports in general. That's debatable. He has 7 Super Bowl victories and holds many other records, but perhaps what is most amazing about Tom is his longevity. That's true. That's true. Got to give him respect and credit there. At the writing of this book, he was 44 years old. Physically average, Tom was never the most athletic player. In fact, he's pretty slow and uncoordinated. He was selected as the 199th pick in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft. There appeared to be nothing remarkable about him, and throughout his career, people doubted Tom. You see where this is going? He'll never be a great quarterback. He's not athletic. Even after he proved his doubters wrong by winning on the field, as he got older, the doubters continued. He's too old to play. In an episode of Tom's recent ESPN documentary, Man in the Arena, Tom talked about how the doubters and skeptics through his career aren't actually in the arena. Well, nothing they say or do has any impact on what occurs on the field. Bo Eason, the former NFL player, I might have messed his last name up, said that when he watches sports on TV, he mutes the sound unless the commentator was an actual player. Wow. He mutes the sound unless the commentator was an actual player. Sports on TV are made for fans, not for pros. Pros don't watch that stuff. It's not made for them. It's made for spectators. Interestingly, in America, sports commentator is nearly as popular, if not more popular, than the sports themselves. In these commentators, people in the stands criticize and critique those in the arena. Now, let's pause for a minute and think about this. If you have anybody in your family that's in sports and you've ever heard them watch film, they watch the tape. Pros watch the tape. Amateurs, even trying to be pros, watch the tape. But it's the commentator part that they don't have when they're watching the tape. Okay? That's where the critic part comes in, them talking over the tape for those who aren't following along. But I'm pretty sure that these listening in, y'all are smart. So y'all are catching these jewels and picking them up while we dropping them, okay? Armchair quarterbacking. Armchair quarterbacking has become a prestigious and impressive pastime. People muttering in their suits and waxing eloquent from the sidelines. No matter what you do, there will be bystanders outside the arena who criticize. They will doubt you. They may even try protecting you from the rigors and dangers of the arena. The former publisher of Success magazine, Darren Hardy, said, "Never take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with. Whenever you seek mentorship, only do so with people who are in the arena. Get advice from people who have experience with the battles you face. Although the opinions of those outside the arena can be a distraction, the much bigger threat your future self faces is you staying out the arena entirely or for far too long." That's a threat, is staying out the arena too long or out of it completely. Being outside the arena means you're overthinking, caught in paralysis by analysis. You're letting fear win. Fear is an imaginary wall, by the way. So you feel the fear and you go through it anyway. For anybody out there that deals with anxiety or fear or things of that nature, you feel it, you recognize it, and you keep going through it, with it, past it. And you grow bigger than it. That's why we're reading this book. Be your future self now, okay? So, where was I at? Being outside the arena means you're overthinking, caught paralysis by analysis. You're letting fear win. Take, for example, the countless people who want to start a business. Okay, let's take the countless people that want to start a business or write a book or learn a language or fill in the blank of any dream someone might have. The philosopher Cato said, "He who hesitates is lost." The longer you hesitate to enter the playing field, the longer you delay the essential learning curve. Ooh, that's good. You cannot deliberately practice on the sidelines. When you're not in the arena, you're failing by default. Can't practice on sidelines, honey. Can't practice on sidelines. Outside the arena may feel safe, but it's the most dangerous place you could be. While outside, you remain ignorant of your own ignorance. Ooh, that's a gem right there. You remain ignorant of your own ignorance. You may be an armchair philosopher or whatever subject you're interested in, but you're not becoming a pro. Staying on the sidelines leads to a life of regrets. The psychological definition of courage is to proactively pursue a noble and worthwhile goal involving risk. According to Dr. David Hackett's courage, hear me, courage, write that down. Courage is the doorway to all positive change. It takes courage to get into the game because once in the arena, you will fail. you'll immediately get hit in the face with the consequences of your actions and your ignorance. And although painful in the moment, this is exactly how you learn and adapt. This is what Coach Big Storm's always talking about, how you have to know that people are in different seasons. And you have to know what season you're in. You can't compare yourself to somebody else, because comparison is the thief of joy. And so if you're starting out, if you're new, if you haven't been doing this long, it takes courage to get in the game, but know that you will fail. We have failed our way through this. So bronze, golden, emerald, diamond, platinum, vice president, president didn't just happen because of only 90 days. It happened because of years of playing in the game, years of preparation. And so when we started over, we didn't start from the beginning, regardless of what company we came from, because I didn't come from the same company that most of the people came from in this group. We came, though, and started from experience, okay? So we have failed before, failed forward, failed fast, okay? So it takes courage to keep going past the failures. That's the exciting part. It takes courage. Just my light here so y'all can see me. Okay, so you can learn and adapt. All right, on page 48, when you were outside the arena, you may not have felt like you were failing, but every day you sit on the sidelines, you fail by default. It took me 5 years to convince myself to start writing online. I've gotten home from my church mission in 2002, and I knew I wanted to be a writer, but it wasn't until 2015 that I finally entered the arena and began learning and making progress. Okay. Once I put my work out there, I got some support. Catch that, some. This is his 5th book, by the way. Once I put my work out there, I got some support. But I also received pretty rough feedback and criticism. As my work got more popular, the criticism got worse. Harder than dealing with the criticism of those outside the arena, I had to face my own insecurities, sharing my ideas, thoughts, and emotions publicly, learning how to do it well, learning how to write effectively and under a deadline. It was tough, but I was in the arena. I was learning fast. Every step I took deeper into the arena, the more I saw things my former self had been completely blind to. I learned how to grow a business and connect with the right mentors and influencers. I developed collaborations that led to publishing deals and other incredible opportunities. But the actions and behaviors at mile marker E were completely blind to me at mile marker C. For those track runners, y'all might understand that. The actions and behaviors at mile marker E were completely blind to me at mile marker C. I had to actually get in the arena to understand the landscape. And that's the same thing right now with this company, Pharmacy. A lot of people have said the wrong things. We have misunderstood things. Please give yourself and the leaders grace, because we are understanding the landscape. And so my next 90-day run is going to be a whole lot different, because now I understand the landscape as well. Does that make sense? My failures were my best friend. Ooh, write that down. I like that. My failures are my best friend. Ooh, ashe. Amen. I learned from others in the arena who were steps ahead of me. And I definitely learned from leaders who were in the arena that were steps ahead of me. I would not be where I am if it was not for my mentors and coaches that I saw in the other companies that I was in. So the same thing occurred when Lauren and I became foster parents to our 3 kids. You could read hundreds of books on a subject, but those books pale to the tangible experience of doing. That's true. Information becomes useful when you're in the arena, because you need real solutions and you need them right now. However, it helps to prepare you too. The consequences for failure are very real in the arena. What I'm talking about is the books, the subjects. But you just don't want to be a reader where you're never a doer, okay? Don't be a reader of the word and you're not a doer, because what? Faith without works is dead. Thank you. So the consequences for failure are very real in the arena. When you're on the sidelines, you can enjoy theorizing and armchair quarterbacking. There are no real risk or consequences. Once you're in the arena and dealing with the realities of the situation, then you can engage in applied learning where you get filtered information you can use right now. As a new foster parent, I remember the sleepless nights dealing with our children's emotional challenges. Who could blame them? If anybody's done foster care or know someone who's done foster care, I used to be a respite foster care parent. So definitely there are challenges, emotional challenges. And like this book says, who can blame them, right? They'd been taken away from their parents. They were living with strangers. Every day it felt like I was failing. 7 years later, I can still feel like all I'm doing is failing as a father, but I'm in the arena. I'm learning. I know way more about parenting than I did 7 years ago or even 7 days ago. And I'm comfortable failing or learning. I'm fine making mistakes because the mistakes I make now are much more important than the mistakes I made a few years ago. I'm playing a much bigger game than I was a few years ago. The stakes are a lot higher. The love is deeper. Every victory is more rewarding. When you're not in the arena, you could enjoy the fantasy football equivalent of whatever you're dreaming about, but you get few genuine rewards. You're more ignorant than you realize. Don't get offended. Don't call it condescending, okay? I'm just being the messenger, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. You're more ignorant than you realize. Spectators are caught in a paralysis by analysis, fear, and decision fatigue. The longer you wait to enter your arena, the more you limit your future self. Being in the arena means you're finally facing and embracing reality. In the arena, you're no longer afraid of reality because it has become your instructor. Eventually, as your future self, you'll be able to shape reality. And that's the end of threat number 6. Make sure to like and subscribe so you know when I go live to hear about threat number 7. And then once we get past the threats, we're going to go into the truths. Okay? So that's going to be exciting. We're going to conclude and then we're going to go into the truths. And so there's 3 parts to this book. Part 1 is the threats. Part 2 is the truths. And then part 3 is the steps to take. So this is really, really good. So again, I'm Dr. J. You guys have an amazing day. And I am so excited to be able to serve you as we read through this book. And if you enjoyed any nuggets, please drop in the comments your takeaways. I always enjoy and look forward to hearing from you. Appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Take care.